Roxie and the Hooligans by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. Chapter 9. The Rock Brigade. For a long time Roxie waited and listened and waited. Then she saw Freddie coming toward her with a big rock in his hands. Roxie took it from him and carried it down to the watermark in the sand. While she waited for another rock, she looked about for any she might find herself there, and slowly, as another rock arrived, and then the next, a triangle, the international sign of distress, Lord Thistlebottom had written, began to form on the sand. For an hour Roxie worked without stopping. Freddie hauled rocks without complaint. It was a large triangle, one that Roxie knew could be seen from the air. She had 2 sides done, and half of the third done, when from far off she heard the rabbit cry. Roxie straightened up and looked around. She heard another rabbit cry, this one coming from the other side of the island, and shortly after that a third cry from the seagrass. But which way were the robbers coming? Roxie wondered, and where should she hide? Crouching low, she scrambled up the grassy bank. Then she heard the men's voices. "What the dadgum is it?" Rat called to Snake Eyes. "Some kind of animal, but I'll be danged if I know what it is." "Could be some kind of critter we never seen before," Snake Eyes called back. "Like some of those creatures down in Australia or something." "Where the heck is it?" said Rat. "Sounds like there's more than one. Could be all over the place." "Might make a tasty dinner if we could catch one," said Snake Eyes. The small plane they had heard that morning was coming back again, and this time Roxie heard Rat say, "I think they're after us, Snake Eyes. I think they know we're hiding out here. I'm thinking we ought to clear down the coast," said Snake Eyes. "Those deputies like to come in the early morning and surprise you. I'm betting they'll try to come here tomorrow before we're awake. Well, we'll just surprise them, clear out and be gone before they get here." Roxie made it back to the woods on the south end of the island, and 20 minutes later all the 5 children had gathered and were eating the last of the sausage and cheese and laughing at the way they had confused the 2 brothers. They heard the small plane again, but just as before it flew over the island and went on. "Maybe the next time we hear it coming, we should all run down to the beach and take our chances," said Roxie, when an hour had gone by and the plane hadn't returned. "Maybe we should stand down there waving our arms and yelling." "Even if the pilot saw us, though, there's no place for him to land," said Simon. "And even if he could land, there would still be time for Snake Eyes to catch us and slit our throats," added Smoky Joe. But even that wasn't enough to stop the smile that was spreading across her face. "You should have seen old Snake Eyes when he got up to leave his tent and I made that rabbit noise," she said. They all began to smile. "He almost fell over it, surprised and so," she went on. "He couldn't see me because I wasn't in the thicket, but he was coming my way, and when Freddie, he gave the rabbit sound, and Snake Eyes started over there. Then Helvetia gave the cry from the seagrass, and Simon had to turn, and those robbers didn't know which way was up." Simon scoffed and made the rabbit noise again just for fun. Then Helvetia made the rabbit sound, and soon all 5 children, Roxie included, were at it again. "I can't wait to try it on Miss Crumbly when she's at the blackboard," said Simon. "Try it on the playground," said Helvetia. "We could get all the kids doing it." Everyone laughed then. Helvetia brayed, Simon howled, Freddie cawed, and Smoky Joe squeaked like a mouse. And suddenly, as quickly as it started, the laughter stopped, and all 5 children looked up to find themselves staring into the gleaming eyes of Rat and Snake Eyes. "Do not panic." Roxie repeated the words in her head even as her feet pounded on the forest floor. 5 children scattered in 5 different directions, and the roar of the men sounded like wild animals behind them. And as Roxie ran, she realized that if she were to hear a squeal or a squall now, she would not know if it was the rabbit noise she had learned from Uncle Dangerfoot or one of the hooligans being caught. She was surprised to find out that she cared. She decided to head for the beach. At least if the robbers cornered her there, she could swim out to sea and take her chances with the shark. Better a shark than Snake Eyes and his knife. He would surely kill all of them, for he wouldn't want any children if rescued, telling the police where the robbers had been hiding. And there he came, close behind her. The shoe came off as Roxie ran across the sand. "If a bull charges," Lord Thistlebottom had written, "do not panic. Throw away an article of clothing, and the bull will probably head for that." Roxie took off her sweater and threw it right in Snake Eye's face. It slowed him for a moment, but did not stop him, and his hand almost grabbed her as he lunged forward again. Then Roxie heard it. Her magnificent, wonderful, round pink sugar bowl handle ears caught the far-off sound of an engine. A small plane was coming back. But it was not a plane, not a boat. Coming down out of the sky, like a huge bird, was a helicopter, and as Roxie ran out into the water to escape the robber, she saw a rope ladder tumble out of the helicopter till it hung 5 feet above the surf. And then, out of the helicopter and down the ladder came her uncle.